Powerful men throughout history have all had one thing in common: an unbreakable mindset. They do not allow themselves to be ruled by emotions, nor do they let external circumstances dictate their actions. Instead, they follow a strict code of discipline, resilience, and wisdom, principles deeply rooted in the philosophy of Stoicism. If you are serious about becoming a man of power, one who commands respect and influences the world around him, then you must internalize these Stoic laws and live by them every single day. In today's world, distractions are everywhere. Social media, entertainment, and even the opinions of others constantly pull you in different directions, making it easy to lose focus on what truly matters. But true power does not come from external validation or fleeting pleasures. It comes from within. A man who masters his emotions, his thoughts, and his actions is the one who holds the real power. Stoicism is not about passively accepting life. It is about taking control of what you can and letting go of what you cannot. It is a way of thinking that allows men to move through the chaos of life with confidence, clarity, and purpose. But let's be honest, most men today are weak. They lack discipline, they seek constant approval, and they crumble under pressure. They have been conditioned to think that masculinity is toxic, that ambition is selfish, and that being strong is unnecessary. Yet history proves otherwise. Every great man, from Marcus Aurelius to modern-day leaders, has followed a set of unshakable principles that have allowed them to build empires, conquer fears, and leave a lasting legacy. And if you want to stand among them, you need to adopt these principles yourself. In this video, we are going to break down the 10 Stoic laws that every powerful man follows. These are not just theories or abstract ideas. They are battle-tested truths that you can start applying to your life immediately. Each of these laws is designed to help you cultivate a stronger mind, develop unshakable confidence, and navigate life with unwavering resilience. This is not for the weak, nor for those looking for shortcuts. If you are ready to transform into a man of true power, then stay with me until the end. By the end of this video, you will have a clear roadmap to strengthening your mind and fortifying your character. But before we begin, I want you to do something. If you find value in this content, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and drop a comment letting me know which of these laws resonates with you the most. Your engagement helps more men discover this knowledge and take action. Now let's dive into the first law and start your transformation. The first law that every powerful man follows is mastering his emotions. This is not just a suggestion, it is a fundamental requirement for anyone who wants to command respect, build influence, and navigate life with unwavering strength. The ability to control your emotions is what separates weak men from powerful men. It dictates how you respond to adversity, how you make decisions, and ultimately, how successful you become. Most men today are slaves to their emotions. They react impulsively to every situation, allowing anger, fear, jealousy, and insecurity to control their actions. But a powerful man does not let emotions dictate his life. He acknowledges them, understands them, but never lets them overpower his rational mind. This is exactly what the Stoics practiced: emotional mastery. They understood that emotions are natural, but must never be allowed to take control. Imagine a man who loses his temper in a business negotiation. Instead of thinking strategically, he allows his frustration to guide his words and actions, ultimately ruining the deal. Now picture another man, one who remains calm, collected and logical despite being under pressure. He controls the conversation, reads the situation, and makes the best possible decision. The difference between these two men is simple. One is a slave to his emotions, while the other is their master. To master your emotions, you must first become aware of them. Most men are unaware of how much their emotions influence their behavior. They react without thinking, making decisions based on temporary feelings rather than long-term logic. Stoicism teaches that before reacting, you must pause, reflect, and assess the situation with a clear mind. One of the most effective ways to do this is through cognitive distancing. Cognitive distancing is the practice of stepping back from your emotions and viewing them as an outsider. When you feel anger rising, instead of immediately reacting, you take a moment to observe the anger as if it were happening to someone else. You detach from it, analyze it, and then decide whether it is worth acting upon. This is the foundation of emotional mastery. Another key aspect of mastering emotions is controlling your impulses. Weak men give in to their urges, whether it be indulging in distractions, reacting out of frustration, or making impulsive decisions without considering the consequences. Powerful men, on the other hand, delay gratification. They understand that self-control is the key to long-term success. Take Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers and Roman emperors. He faced countless battles, betrayals, and crises, yet he never let his emotions cloud his judgment. He constantly reminded himself to remain in control, never letting fear or anger dictate his actions. His ability to master his emotions allowed him to lead an empire with strength and wisdom. A practical way to cultivate emotional control is through journaling. The Stoics, including Marcus Aurelius, wrote down their thoughts, emotions, and reflections daily. This practice helps you gain awareness of your emotions and analyze them objectively. By writing down your feelings, you remove their power over you. Breathing techniques are another tool that powerful men use to regulate emotions. When faced with stress, anxiety, or anger, controlling your breath can instantly calm your mind. The practice of deep, controlled breathing slows down your heart rate, brings clarity to your thoughts, and prevents irrational reactions. In addition to breathwork, meditation is a crucial tool for emotional mastery. Meditation is not about emptying the mind. It is about training your ability to observe thoughts and emotions without attachment. By practicing mindfulness, you develop the skill of recognizing emotions as they arise and choosing not to react impulsively. Furthermore, powerful men understand that emotional mastery is not about suppressing emotions, but about directing them constructively. A Stoic does not deny that he feels anger, sadness, or fear. He acknowledges these emotions, but ensures they do not dictate his behavior. Instead of allowing anger to control him, he channels it into productive action. Instead of being paralyzed by fear, he uses it as motivation to prepare and strategize. Now let's talk about one of the biggest enemies of emotional control: external validation. Most men today crave approval from others. They want to be liked. They want to fit in, and they allow the opinions of others to shape their emotions. But a powerful man does not seek validation from the outside world. His self-worth comes from within. Consider a man who is constantly worried about what others think. If someone criticizes him, he takes it personally. If he doesn't receive praise, he feels unworthy. This is the mindset of a weak man, one who has no control over his own sense of worth. A powerful man, however, remains indifferent to external opinions. He values his own judgment above the noise of the world. To strengthen this mindset, practice self-affirmation. Remind yourself daily that your worth is not determined by the approval of others. Develop self-confidence by focusing on your own standards rather than seeking validation. When you stop allowing external opinions to dictate your emotions, you gain immense power over your own state of mind. Another strategy for mastering emotions is controlling your environment. Your surroundings influence your emotional state more than you realize. If you surround yourself with negativity, drama, and weak-minded individuals, your emotional control will suffer. On the other hand, if you cultivate an environment of discipline, strength, and wisdom, your emotional mastery will thrive. Powerful men are intentional about who they allow into their lives. They avoid people who drain their energy and instead surround themselves with those who challenge them to grow. If you want to master your emotions, you must also master your environment. Finally, discipline is the foundation of emotional control. Without discipline, your emotions will always dictate your actions. A man who lacks discipline is a man who is easily manipulated by external forces. But a disciplined man, one who has trained himself to act based on logic rather than emotion, is unshakable. Discipline is built through consistent effort. It is developed by pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone every day, whether it's through physical training, mental exercises, or facing challenges head-on. Discipline strengthens your ability to control your emotions. To recap, emotional mastery is the first and most crucial Stoic law for powerful men. It is the ability to control your emotions, remain composed under pressure, and make decisions based on logic rather than impulse. It is about developing awareness, practicing cognitive distancing, using breathwork and meditation, rejecting external validation, curating your environment, and cultivating discipline. When you master your emotions, you gain the ability to control your destiny. You become the kind of man who is respected, admired, and followed. And most importantly, you become a man who is in charge of himself. The second law that every powerful man follows is accepting what he cannot control. This principle is one of the foundational teachings of Stoicism and separates those who waste their energy on the uncontrollable from those who focus only on what truly matters. The weak man complains, blames, and resents his circumstances. The powerful man understands that his time and effort should only be invested in things he has control over. In life, there are countless things beyond your control: the actions of others, the economy, the opinions people hold about you, and even the events that unfold in your daily life. Yet most men waste valuable time and energy worrying about these things, reacting emotionally to situations they cannot change. This is a path to weakness and frustration. The powerful man, however, recognizes that his energy is finite, and he directs it only toward what is within his control: his thoughts, his actions, his discipline, and his response to the world around him. The Stoics referred to this as the dichotomy of control, a principle that differentiates between things we have power over and things we do not. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic emperors, constantly reminded himself in his private writings to concern himself only with what is his to control. This is a simple, yet life-changing mindset shift. Once you stop trying to control external forces, you free yourself from unnecessary stress and focus purely on your own growth. Imagine a man who loses his job due to economic downturns. A weak man will spend his time blaming the company, feeling sorry for himself, and complaining about the unfairness of life. He will allow his emotions to dictate his actions, leading to inaction and further setbacks. A powerful man, on the other hand, will accept reality as it is. He does not dwell on the fact that he lost his job, because that is out of his control. Instead, he immediately shifts his focus to what he can do, improving his skills, seeking new opportunities, and using adversity as fuel for growth. One of the biggest traps that modern men fall into is obsessing over the opinions of others. Many waste years of their lives trying to impress people, seeking approval, or worrying about what someone else thinks. This is one of the most dangerous distractions. A powerful man never concerns himself with what is beyond his control. He understands that he cannot change how people perceive him. He can only control how he presents himself. He focuses on becoming a man of value rather than seeking validation. A useful exercise in embracing this law is preparing for adversity in advance. The Stoics practiced a technique called premeditatio malorum, which means anticipating misfortune. They would mentally rehearse worst-case scenarios so that when adversity inevitably came, they would be emotionally prepared. By visualizing setbacks in advance, they strengthened their minds to remain composed and rational under pressure. For example, before an important business deal, a Stoic man might ask himself, "What is the worst that could happen? What will I do if things go wrong?" By answering these questions in advance, he eliminates fear and uncertainty, replacing them with a clear strategy. When the unexpected happens, he does not panic. He is already prepared. Another vital practice is training yourself to remain indifferent to external outcomes. This does not mean you should be passive or careless. Rather, it means that you should put in your best effort but detach from the results. You control your work ethic, your discipline, and your preparation, but you do not control the final outcome. Whether you win or lose, whether people accept you or reject you, whether life rewards you or challenges you, none of it should affect your inner peace. A great example of this mindset is found in elite athletes. A world-class boxer does not focus on whether he will win or lose. He focuses only on his training, his technique, and his ability to execute under pressure. He knows he cannot control the referee, the judges, or even his opponent's performance. All he can do is prepare himself to the best of his ability and give his absolute best effort in the ring. If he wins, he remains humble. If he loses, he does not waste energy on regret. He analyzes what went wrong, improves, and moves forward. This principle is also crucial in relationships. Weak men attempt to control others. They try to change how people feel about them. They manipulate situations to seek approval, and they get emotionally attached to outcomes. A powerful man understands that he cannot control how others act. He can only control how he responds. If a woman loses interest in him, he does not beg, plead, or get emotional. He moves on, knowing that his worth is not determined by external validation. By accepting what you cannot control, you gain a tremendous amount of inner peace. Most anxiety, frustration, and stress in life come from resisting reality instead of adapting to it. Once you embrace this mindset, you no longer react emotionally to every inconvenience. You develop an unshakable confidence because you know that no matter what happens, you will focus only on what you can do, not on external circumstances. A simple yet powerful way to train this mindset is the three-question method. Whenever you face a problem, ask yourself, is this within my control? If it is, what actions can I take to improve the situation? If it is not, how can I adjust my mindset to accept it and move forward? By consistently applying this method, you will train yourself to filter out distractions and focus only on the things that truly matter. One of the ultimate tests of this principle is dealing with failure. Many men allow failure to define them. When things do not go as planned, they fall into self-doubt, shame, or even give up entirely. But powerful men reframe failure as a lesson, not a defeat. When a challenge arises, they do not waste time wishing things were different. They immediately take action toward the next best move. Consider the example of Thomas Edison, the inventor of the light bulb. He failed thousands of times before finding success. Yet he famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that don't work." This is the mindset of a powerful man. He does not dwell on failures. He extracts value from them and keeps moving forward. Ultimately, the ability to accept what you cannot control frees you. It frees you from overthinking, from regret, from anger, and from unnecessary stress. It allows you to operate with a clear mind, make rational decisions, and focus all your energy on what truly matters. By mastering this law, you will develop an unbeatable mindset, one that cannot be shaken by external forces. You will become the kind of man who moves through life with clarity, efficiency, and an unbreakable will, and that is the foundation of true power. The third law that every powerful man follows is embracing hardship as a teacher. Weak men run from discomfort, avoiding challenges and adversity at all costs, but powerful men understand that struggle is the foundation of strength. They know that every hardship, every setback, and every painful experience contains a lesson that can shape them into a stronger, wiser, and more resilient version of themselves. Stoicism teaches that suffering is not something to be feared, but something to be used. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This is one of the most powerful Stoic teachings, the idea that obstacles are not barriers but pathways. Instead of seeing hardship as something that hinders you, you must see it as a tool for growth. Think about the strongest men in history. None of them were handed success on a silver platter. They faced struggles, they endured pain, and they overcame unimaginable obstacles. It was their response to adversity that defined them. They did not complain or wish for an easier path. They embraced the difficulty and let it forge them into something greater. One of the most important mindsets to develop is the belief that suffering is necessary for growth. Weak men see hardship as an excuse to give up, but powerful men see it as a test. Every difficulty you face is an opportunity to develop mental toughness, discipline, and resilience. If you avoid hardship, you avoid growth. A perfect example of this mindset is found in elite military training. Special Forces soldiers endure brutal physical and mental challenges designed to push them beyond their limits. Most men quit because they cannot handle the pain. But those who push through the suffering come out the other side as warriors. They understand that every second of discomfort is making them stronger. The pain is not their enemy, it is their teacher. If you want to become a powerful man, you must seek out hardship instead of running from it. This means voluntarily putting yourself in uncomfortable situations, whether it's through intense physical training, disciplined mental challenges, or stepping into the unknown. The more you train yourself to handle discomfort, the stronger you become. A powerful way to implement this is through voluntary hardship, a practice the Stoics embraced. They would deliberately expose themselves to discomfort to strengthen their resilience. Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, would spend nights sleeping on the floor with nothing but a thin blanket. He did this not because he had to, but because he wanted to train himself to be comfortable with discomfort. He knew that if he could endure hardship by choice, then he would be unbreakable when life forced hardship upon him. You can apply this principle in many ways. Challenge yourself to take cold showers, push your body to its limits in training, fast for extended periods, or spend time in solitude without distractions. These practices might seem small, but over time, they develop an inner strength that will separate you from the weak. Another crucial lesson about hardship is that pain is temporary, but growth is permanent. Many men give up the moment things become difficult because they focus too much on temporary discomfort instead of long-term rewards. A powerful man understands that all pain eventually passes, but the strength gained from enduring it lasts forever. Think about the most challenging moments in your life. At the time, they felt unbearable, but looking back, you can see how they shaped you. The suffering you endured made you stronger, wiser, and more capable. If you had avoided those hardships, you would not be the man you are today. One of the most powerful exercises you can do is reflect on past hardships and extract lessons from them. Instead of resenting painful experiences, analyze them objectively. Ask yourself, what did this challenge teach me? How did it force me to Grow, what strengths did I develop because of this struggle? By reframing hardships as lessons rather than burdens, you shift your perspective from a victim mindset to a warrior mindset. Powerful men also detach their identity from comfort. Society today conditions men to seek ease, pleasure, and security. We live in an era where instant gratification is everywhere. Food is available on demand, entertainment is limitless, and people avoid discomfort at all costs. But this lifestyle creates weak men. In contrast, powerful men train themselves to be comfortable in discomfort. They understand that hardship is inevitable, so they prepare for it before it arrives. This is why they wake up early, train their bodies, and discipline their minds. They are forging themselves into men who can handle anything. One of the most important lessons in embracing hardship is the acceptance of failure. Many men fear failure so much that they never take action. They stay in their comfort zones, never pushing themselves to their limits. But a powerful man understands that failure is not the end. It is part of the process. Take any great leader, athlete, or entrepreneur. They all failed, many times. But instead of letting failure break them, they used it as fuel. They analyzed their mistakes, learned from them, and came back stronger. Failure is the best teacher because it exposes weaknesses and forces you to improve. To develop this mindset, you must reframe failure as feedback. Instead of seeing failure as a reflection of your worth, see it as a stepping stone to success. Every setback is an opportunity to analyze, adjust, and advance. There is a powerful exercise that can help shift your perspective on hardship. The adversity letter. This is a letter you write to yourself, detailing all the challenges you have overcome in life. You list every struggle, every moment of pain, and every obstacle that tested you. Then you highlight how each hardship made you stronger. When you face difficulty in the future, you read this letter to remind yourself of your own resilience. Ultimately, embracing hardship is what makes you powerful. It teaches you discipline, fortifies your mind, and eliminates weakness. When you stop running from discomfort and start welcoming it as a necessary part of growth, you unlock a level of mental toughness that most men will never achieve. The world is not an easy place. Challenges will come. Pain will test you. But if you have trained yourself to see hardship as an opportunity rather than a burden, nothing will be able to break you. A powerful man does not fear struggle. He seeks it out, knowing that every hardship brings him closer to his highest potential. The fourth law that every powerful man follows is leading with logic, not impulse. Weak men are controlled by their emotions, making rash decisions based on fleeting feelings. Powerful men, on the other hand, are ruled by reason. They think strategically, calculate risks, and always act with purpose. They understand that impulse is the enemy of power, and only those who operate with a rational mindset can truly control their destiny. Stoicism teaches that human beings are constantly battling between emotion and logic. The weak man allows his emotions to dictate his actions, reacting impulsively to situations without considering the long-term consequences. The powerful man recognizes emotions for what they are, temporary states of mind that should never override rational thought. He takes control of his reactions, ensuring that every decision is guided by logic, not impulse. A prime example of this principle in action is in leadership. A weak leader is easily swayed by emotions. He lets anger cloud his judgment. He reacts impulsively to criticism, and he allows fear to dictate his actions. A strong leader remains calm and calculated. He never makes decisions based on how he feels in the moment. Instead, he steps back, assesses the situation logically, and makes the best decision based on reason rather than emotion. One of the most destructive impulses that weak men fall victim to is reactivity. When something goes wrong, They immediately lash out, panic, or make irrational decisions. They are driven by fear, anger, and frustration. A powerful man never reacts. He responds. He gives himself time to process situations before making a move. The 5-second rule is an effective tool for avoiding emotional reactions. When faced with a triggering situation, instead of reacting instantly, count to 5. This brief pause allows your logical mind to override the emotional impulse. It gives you time to assess whether your response will be beneficial or destructive. Consider a man who receives an insulting comment from someone at work. The weak man reacts immediately. He becomes defensive, argues back, or allows the comment to ruin his day. The powerful man pauses, evaluates the situation logically, and chooses whether responding is even worth his time. More often than not, he realizes that engaging in emotional battles is a waste of energy. Instead of reacting impulsively, he maintains his composure and stays focused on his goals. Another area where impulse destroys men is in financial decision-making. Weak men spend money recklessly, indulging in instant gratification without considering the long-term consequences. They fall into the trap of consumerism, chasing short-term pleasure rather than building lasting wealth. Powerful men think ahead. They understand that every financial decision should be made with careful consideration, and that discipline is the key to long-term success. Before making a purchase or investment, a powerful man asks himself, "Do I truly need this? Or is this just an emotional impulse? Will this decision benefit me in the long run? Or am I just seeking temporary gratification? How does this align with my long-term goals?" By applying logical thinking to financial decisions, a man can build lasting wealth instead of wasting his resources on meaningless indulgences. Another critical area where logical thinking is crucial is in relationships. Weak men let their emotions control their interactions with others. They become desperate for validation. They chase after women who do not respect them, and they allow jealousy and insecurity to cloud their judgment. Powerful men, however, approach relationships with clarity and control. A man who operates on impulse will allow his emotions to dictate his romantic choices. He may stay in a toxic relationship because he's afraid of being alone. He may become needy and dependent on external validation. He may react emotionally to every disagreement, making the relationship unstable. A powerful man never lets emotions override logic in his relationships. Before committing to a relationship, a powerful man asks himself, "Does this relationship align with my long-term vision? Does this person add value to my life? Or am I allowing emotion to cloud my judgment? Am I leading with reason, or am I acting out of desperation?" By thinking logically instead of emotionally, he ensures that he builds relationships that are healthy, stable, and beneficial to his overall growth. One of the biggest traps of emotional decision-making is revenge and resentment. Many men waste years of their lives consumed by hatred, holding on to grudges and seeking revenge for perceived wrongs. But powerful men do not let emotions like anger and resentment dictate their actions. They understand that seeking revenge is a waste of energy. It keeps them trapped in the past instead of focused on the future. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." Instead of seeking retaliation, powerful men focus on their own progress. They channel their energy into improving themselves rather than being consumed by bitterness. A powerful exercise to detach from emotional decision-making is the observer's perspective. Whenever faced with a situation that triggers strong emotions, step outside yourself and imagine advising a close friend in the same situation. This detachment allows you to analyze the problem objectively, removing personal biases and emotional reactions. Training yourself to think logically rather than emotionally takes time, but it is one of the most valuable skills a man can develop. Some practical steps to strengthen this ability include daily reflection. At the end of each day, review your decisions and evaluate whether they were based on logic or impulse. Identify areas where you reacted emotionally and strategize how you could respond better in the future. Reading Stoic philosophy, the works of Marcus Aurelius Seneca and Epictetus provide powerful insights into mastering emotions and leading with reason. Incorporating Stoic teachings into your daily mindset helps reinforce logical thinking. Practicing delayed responses. When faced with a difficult situation, give yourself time before making a decision. This habit strengthens your ability to detach from immediate emotions and think clearly. Avoiding triggers. Identify situations, people, or habits that frequently lead to emotional reactions. Minimize exposure to them, and when unavoidable, prepare in advance to handle them with a rational approach. Ultimately, the ability to lead with logic rather than impulse is what separates powerful men from weak men. It is what allows a man to make calculated decisions, stay composed under pressure, and build a life based on strategy rather than emotion. Powerful men understand that emotions are fleeting and often misleading. They do not let anger, fear, jealousy, or impulsive desires dictate their path. They analyze every situation with a rational mindset, ensuring that their actions align with their long-term vision. The world is full of men who let their emotions ruin them. Men who throw away opportunities because of momentary rage. Men who sabotage their relationships out of insecurity. Men who make reckless financial decisions because they lack control. But if you can train yourself to think clearly, to act with reason rather than emotion, you will elevate yourself above the masses. When you master this law, you will become a man who is in control of his mind, his choices, and his future. You will develop a presence that commands respect, and you will make decisions that lead to real power and success. The fifth law that every powerful man follows is valuing silence and observation over endless talk. In a world where everyone is eager to speak, to express opinions, and to make noise, the man who remains silent and observant holds the true power. The ability to listen, analyze, and act with precision is what separates great leaders, strategists, and thinkers from the masses who waste their energy on meaningless chatter. Stoicism teaches that speaking less and observing more grants a man control over himself and his surroundings. Epictetus famously said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." The weak man talks excessively, seeking validation through his words. He interrupts conversations, reacts impulsively, and overshares, often revealing his weaknesses. The powerful man, however, listens, absorbs, and responds only when necessary. His words carry weight because they are rare and calculated. Consider the way the world's most respected leaders and successful men conduct themselves. They do not engage in idle talk. They do not waste their breath on gossip, complaints, or meaningless opinions. Instead, they speak with purpose, making every word count. A powerful man's speech is intentional. When he speaks, people listen. 1 of the most significant benefits of strategic silence is the power it gives you in negotiations and conflicts. A weak man panics when there is silence in a conversation, rushing to fill the void with unnecessary words. A strong man, however, understands that silence is a weapon. He lets others speak first, gathering information and allowing his opponent to reveal weaknesses. The more others talk, the more control he has over the situation. A simple yet effective exercise for mastering silence in interactions is the 3-second rule. Before responding to any question or comment, pause for 3 seconds. This moment of silence forces you to think before speaking, ensuring that your words are intentional rather than reactive. It also makes you appear more composed and in control, giving you an air of authority. Another critical aspect of this law is knowing when to keep information to yourself. Weak men feel the need to share every thought, every plan, and every ambition with the world. They crave validation and attention, but in doing so, they expose themselves to unnecessary risk. A powerful man, on the other hand, moves in silence. He does not broadcast his next move, he executes it. The less people know about your plans, the less they can interfere with them. This principle applies to business, relationships, and personal growth. The more you share, the more vulnerable you become to manipulation, envy, and sabotage. The powerful man guards his words, revealing only what is necessary and keeping his greatest strengths hidden until the right moment. Observation is just as important as silence. A powerful man understands that most people expose themselves through their words and actions. By carefully watching others, he can learn their weaknesses, their motivations, and their true intentions. The ability to read people is one of the most valuable skills a man can develop, allowing him to navigate social, business, and personal situations with an unmatched level of control. To enhance your observational skills, practice active listening. This means fully focusing on what the other person is saying, rather than just waiting for your turn to speak. Pay attention to their tone, their body language, and the emotions behind their words. Often, what is left unsaid is more important than what is spoken. Another method to sharpen your ability to read people is mirroring. When engaging in conversation, subtly mimic the other person's posture, gestures, and tone. This builds subconscious rapport and helps you understand their emotional state. It also makes them more comfortable, leading them to reveal more than they intended. In social dynamics, the man who listens and observes holds an advantage over the man who speaks without thinking. He notices the insecurities others try to hide. He understands the unspoken power structures in a room. He can predict reactions and make calculated moves based on what he perceives. This makes him adaptable, persuasive, and ultimately powerful. This principle is particularly crucial in high-stakes environments like business negotiations. The most successful deal-makers are not those who dominate conversations, but those who control them through silence. They let their counterparts reveal too much, waiting patiently until they have gathered enough information to make a calculated move. Consider the way Warren Buffett conducts business. He is known for his calm demeanor and his ability to remain silent in discussions, allowing others to reveal their positions before he responds. His ability to listen more than he speaks has allowed him to make calculated investments and negotiate from a position of strength. Silence also plays a significant role in discipline and self-control. Weak men speak impulsively, often regretting their words later. They engage in meaningless arguments, defend themselves unnecessarily, and feel the need to have the last word. A powerful man knows that true strength lies in restraint. He does not need to prove himself through words. His actions do that for him. One of the biggest mistakes men make is trying to defend their reputation through unnecessary arguments. A weak man will waste hours explaining himself to people who have already made up their minds about him. A strong man lets his actions speak louder than his words. He understands that trying to convince everyone of his worth is a waste of energy. The great Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This is the essence of power, focusing on action rather than empty talk. Mastering silence also helps in moments of conflict. In an argument, the man who remains calm and composed always holds the upper hand. When someone tries to provoke you, your silence unsettles them more than any response could. It shows that you are in control, that their words have no effect on you. An excellent exercise for developing control over your speech is the 24-hour rule. If something upsets you, whether it be an insult, a conflict, or a negative event, wait 24 hours before responding. More often than not, you will realize that the situation does not even require a response. This practice helps eliminate unnecessary conflicts and allows you to maintain emotional control. Another way to cultivate this mindset is through meditation and solitude. Spending time in silence, away from distractions, strengthens your ability to control your speech and focus your thoughts. The more comfortable you become with silence, the less you will feel the need to fill it with meaningless words. Ultimately, valuing silence and observation over endless talk gives a man an undeniable edge in life. It allows him to control conversations, read people effectively, and make precise, calculated decisions. It shields him from unnecessary drama, keeps his enemies unaware of his next move, and commands respect from those around him. The world rewards those who know when to speak and when to remain silent. By mastering this law, you will develop an aura of mystery, authority, and control, one that sets you apart from the masses who waste their breath on meaningless chatter. A powerful man does not seek attention with his words. He commands it with his presence. The sixth law that every powerful man follows is never depending on external validation. Weak men seek approval from others to feel worthy. They crave recognition, praise, and reassurance because they lack a solid internal foundation. A powerful man, however, knows that true confidence and self-worth come from within, not from the opinions of others. One of the core teachings of Stoicism is indifference to external opinions. The Stoics understood that relying on external validation makes a man weak and dependent. If your happiness and confidence are based on the approval of others, you will always be at their mercy. When they praise you, you feel good. When they criticize you, you feel worthless. This makes you vulnerable and easily manipulated. Marcus Aurelius said, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinions than our own." This highlights the absurdity of seeking external validation. You must train yourself to prioritize your own judgment over the opinions of others. A weak man constantly looks for signs that he is good enough. He seeks reassurance from friends, approval from colleagues, and validation from women. This behavior signals insecurity. A powerful man, on the other hand, does not concern himself with what others think. He trusts his own decisions, values his own opinion, and remains indifferent to praise or criticism. One of the biggest traps men fall into today is social media validation. Many waste hours curating their online image, chasing likes, and seeking attention from strangers. They feel good when their posts are praised and crushed when they receive criticism. This is a dangerous cycle that makes them dependent on external approval for self-worth. A powerful man does not base his confidence on how many people like his posts. He does not seek external validation because he knows that real confidence comes from what he does, not from what others say about him. A simple exercise to detach from external validation is the mirror test. Every morning, look at yourself in the mirror and ask, do I respect the man I see? Am I living according to my own values? Would I still be proud of myself even if no one praised me? By practicing this, you shift your focus inward, building a self-worth that is unshakable. Another crucial aspect of this law is learning to be immune to criticism. Weak men fear criticism because they base their identity on how others perceive them. They take every negative comment personally and allow it to affect their self-esteem. Powerful men, however, understand that criticism is inevitable, and they refuse to let it control their emotions. When someone criticizes you, ask yourself, is this criticism valid? If yes, learn from it and improve. Is this criticism irrelevant or coming from someone unqualified? If yes, ignore it completely. By filtering criticism logically rather than emotionally, you maintain control over your mindset. There is a famous story about Socrates that illustrates this principle. One day, a man insulted him publicly, trying to provoke a reaction. Instead of getting angry, Socrates remained completely calm. When asked why he did not defend himself, he replied, "If a donkey kicks me, should I kick it back?" This is the mindset of a powerful man. He does not lower himself to the level of those who criticize him. In relationships, a man who seeks external validation will always be weak. He will constantly try to please others, avoid confrontation, and sacrifice his own values to gain approval. Women, in particular, can sense this insecurity, and they lose respect for men who are desperate for validation. A powerful man, however, remains independent. He does not change himself to impress others. He does not compromise his values to fit in. He understands that true attraction comes from self-respect, not from seeking approval. Before making any decision, ask yourself, am I doing this because I truly believe in it, or because I want someone else's approval? If your motivation is external validation, reconsider your choice. Another powerful mindset shift is realizing that no one is thinking about you as much as you believe. Most people are too occupied with their own problems to care about your every move. Understanding this is liberating. It frees you from the pressure of constantly trying to impress others. A great way to reinforce this law is through solitude. Spending time alone, away from external influence, helps you develop self-reliance. Take time to reflect, read, train, and think without seeking validation from others. The more comfortable you become in your own company, the stronger your internal confidence will grow. A key practice to eliminate dependency on external validation is the silence challenge. For 1 week, avoid discussing your goals, accomplishments, or plans with anyone. Do everything for yourself without seeking recognition. This practice forces you to detach from external validation and focus purely on your own standards. Another major aspect of this law is detaching from praise as much as from criticism. Many people believe they are strong because they do not let criticism affect them, but they still crave and depend on praise. This is a hidden weakness. If you rely on compliments to feel good about yourself, you are still controlled by external opinions. A truly powerful man remains unaffected by both praise and criticism. He knows that external opinions do not define his value. He maintains his confidence regardless of what others say. One of the greatest examples of this mindset is Julius Caesar. Despite being one of the most powerful men in history, he was known for remaining emotionally detached from both admiration and criticism. When soldiers cheered his victories, he remained calm. When enemies insulted him, he remained calm. His power came from his inner belief in himself, not from external validation. To build this mindset, practice the nothing matters mentality. Remind yourself daily that no opinion, no comment, and no validation from others has any true power over you. Only your own approval matters. Ultimately, the ability to live without external validation makes a man unstoppable. He no longer fears rejection, criticism, or disapproval because he has built an unshakable inner foundation. He moves through life with quiet confidence, never explaining himself unnecessarily, never seeking permission to be who he is. This is the mark of a truly powerful man. When you master this law, you free yourself from the opinions of others and step into your full power. You become the kind of man who is respected not because he seeks it, but because he is truly self-sufficient. The seventh law that every powerful man follows is acting with integrity always. In a world where deception, manipulation, and dishonesty are common, a man who stands firm in his principles is rare. Integrity is the foundation of true power. It is what separates men who are respected and trusted from those who are seen as unreliable and weak. Stoicism teaches that a man's character is his most valuable possession. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." This simple yet profound principle defines what it means to live with integrity. A powerful man does not compromise his values for convenience. He does not take shortcuts, and he does not sacrifice his morals for temporary gain. A weak man will lie to make himself look better, break promises when it suits him, and betray others when it benefits him. He believes that deception is a tool for success. But in reality, a man without integrity has no real power. He may gain temporary advantages through dishonesty, but in the long run, he destroys his reputation and loses the trust of those around him. Powerful men understand that integrity is not just about morality, it is about strength. A man who is honest, reliable, and principled commands respect. People know that his word is unbreakable, that his actions align with his values, and that he does what is right even when no one is watching. This makes him a leader, someone whom others trust and follow. One of the biggest tests of integrity is how a man behaves under pressure. When things are easy, it is simple to be honest and uphold your values. But when adversity strikes, when money, power, or emotions are involved, many men compromise their principles. A powerful man does not. His integrity is non-negotiable. Consider a man in business who faces an opportunity to make quick money through unethical means. The weak man, driven by greed, will justify dishonest actions. He will take the shortcut, thinking only of immediate gains. But the powerful man thinks long-term. He knows that acting without integrity will ultimately destroy his credibility and his ability to build lasting success. He walks away from unethical opportunities because he values his character above all. Another crucial aspect of integrity is keeping your word. Weak men make promises they cannot keep. They say one thing and do another. This destroys their credibility and makes them unreliable. A powerful man, however, treats his word as sacred. If he makes a commitment, he follows through. If he cannot deliver, he does not make false promises. A simple exercise to build integrity is the 24-hour rule. Before making any promise, take 24 hours to think it through. This prevents impulsive commitments and ensures that when you give your word, it is something you can uphold. Integrity is also essential in relationships. Weak men manipulate, deceive, and betray others when it serves their interests. They lie to impress, to avoid confrontation, or to gain short-term advantages. But these tactics only create instability and distrust. A powerful man, on the other hand, is completely transparent. He speaks the truth even when it is difficult. He does not hide his intentions, and he does not engage in deception. Women, in particular, respect men who are honest and unwavering in their values. A man who is upfront about who he is, what he stands for, and what he expects commands admiration. He does not change himself to please others. He stands firm in his beliefs, and those who respect him will stay, while those who do not will leave. Integrity also applies to self-discipline. Many men fail because they lie to themselves. They set goals and then make excuses when they do not follow through. They justify laziness, procrastination, and bad habits. But a powerful man holds himself accountable. He does not deceive himself with excuses. If he sets a goal, he follows through. If he fails, he takes responsibility and improves. A great way to develop self-integrity is through journaling for accountability. Every day, write down your commitments, actions, and areas where you need to improve. Be brutally honest with yourself. Track your progress and ensure that your actions align with your words. Another powerful exercise is living as if you are always being watched. Imagine that every action you take is observed by someone you deeply respect. Would you still act the same way? This mindset eliminates dishonesty and reinforces integrity. Integrity is also the foundation of strong leadership. People follow those they trust. If you are a man of integrity, others will look to you for guidance. Your reputation will precede you, and opportunities will come your way because people know you are reliable. Throughout history, the greatest leaders were men of integrity. They led with honesty, consistency, and unwavering principles. While weak, men sought power through deceit. These leaders built empires through trust and respect. One of the best modern examples of integrity in leadership is Warren Buffett. Despite immense wealth and power, he has always maintained transparency, honesty, and ethical decision-making in his business dealings. His reputation is built on trust, and because of that, people invest in him, follow him, and respect him. Ultimately, acting with integrity gives you unbreakable strength. It shields you from regrets, it earns you respect, and it builds a legacy that lasts. While others chase power through deception, you will command power through character. When you live with integrity, you become a man whom others trust, a man whose word carries weight, and a man who is truly in control of his destiny. We have now explored the 10 Stoic laws that every powerful man follows, and by now you should have a clear understanding of what separates weak men from strong, respected, and truly powerful individuals. These laws are not just theoretical concepts. They are principles that, when applied consistently, will transform you into a man of discipline, wisdom, and influence. The modern world is filled with distractions, emotional chaos, and men who lack direction. Most men drift through life, reacting to circumstances rather than shaping their own destiny. They seek external validation. They fear hardship. They are controlled by their impulses, and they lack the discipline to command respect. But you are not most men. By committing to these Stoic laws, you are choosing a different path, the path of strength, resilience, and true self-mastery. Let's take a moment to reflect on the key principles we covered and how they come together to create an unshakable foundation for power. Mastering your emotions was the first and most fundamental law. A man who cannot control his emotions will always be controlled by the world around him. He will react impulsively, make irrational decisions, and allow external forces to dictate his state of mind. But a powerful man remains calm, composed, and rational. He understands that emotions are temporary and that true power comes from maintaining control over his thoughts and reactions. From there, we moved on to accepting what you cannot control. This principle is what separates strong men from those who waste their energy fighting battles they cannot win. A powerful man focuses solely on what is within his control, his actions, his mindset, and his discipline. He does not waste time on complaints, blame, or resentment. Instead, he directs his energy toward productive action, ensuring that every move he makes is intentional and impactful. Then, we explored embracing hardship as a teacher. Weak men avoid discomfort, but powerful men actively seek it. They understand that growth only happens through struggle. They do not fear pain or adversity because they know that every challenge is an opportunity to build resilience. By adopting this mindset, you will become unstoppable. No obstacle will break you because you will have trained yourself to thrive in discomfort. Next, we examined leading with logic, not impulse. Most men act based on fleeting emotions, making reckless decisions that sabotage their long-term success. But a powerful man operates with reason. He analyzes situations, calculates risks, and always chooses the most strategic course of action. This ability to detach from emotion and think rationally is one of the defining traits of great leaders and successful men. Then came the law of silence and observation over endless talk. In a world where everyone is desperate to be heard, the man who listens holds the real power. Powerful men do not waste their words. They speak with purpose. They observe, analyze, and only speak when necessary. This not only grants them an air of authority, but also allows them to understand people and situations better than anyone else. After that, we discussed never depending on external validation. Weak men crave approval. They need reassurance to feel worthy, and they allow the opinions of others to dictate their self-worth. But a powerful man does not seek validation. He generates it from within. He moves through life with confidence, knowing that his value is not determined by others, but by his own actions and principles. Then we arrived at acting with integrity, always. A man who lacks integrity is a man who cannot be trusted. Weak men lie, deceive, and manipulate to get ahead, but their lack of character ultimately leads to their downfall. A powerful man, however, is unwavering in his principles. He is honest, consistent, and reliable. His word is his bond, and because of that, he commands respect wherever he goes. These 7 laws, along with the remaining 3 that follow, form the foundation of true power. They shape men who are respected, admired, and followed. But knowing these laws is not enough. Knowledge without action is meaningless. The real question is, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you simply acknowledge these principles and return to your old habits? Or will you commit to applying them every day, refining yourself, and stepping into the power that is already within you? Every great man in history has lived by these laws, whether consciously or unconsciously. From Marcus Aurelius to modern leaders, from warriors to visionaries, the most powerful men have always followed these principles. Now it is your turn. You have a choice. You can remain like the majority of men, reactive, weak, dependent on emotions, and seeking approval. Or you can step into true power. You can train yourself to become a man who is disciplined, composed, and unshakable. A man who commands respect, leads with confidence, and shapes his own destiny. And if you are serious about making this transformation, start today. Choose one of these laws and commit to applying it immediately. Train yourself to master your emotions. Refuse to waste energy on things outside your control. Seek out discomfort instead of running from it. Make logic, not impulse, the foundation of your decisions. Speak less and listen more. Detach from external validation. Live with absolute integrity. Power is not something that is given to you. It is something that you build through consistent action. And the sooner you start, the sooner you will see results. If this video has given you value, let me know in the comments which Stoic law resonated with you the most. Hit the like button, subscribe for more life-changing content, and share this with another man who needs to hear it, because at the end of the day, the world needs more powerful men. Men who lead, men who do not break under pressure, men who live by principles rather than emotions. So take this knowledge and apply it. Step into your power. And remember, you control your mind, your actions, and your destiny. No one else. Until next time, stay strong, stay focused, and stay stoic.